What it is, what's up? That's the wrong intro. Your boy Biscuits from Heaven back with another video. And I want to do something that was a little bit different. I really am in a spot. Where I'm looking back at a lot of older artists. I'm reflecting, and not just artists, but just the world, 5, 10 years ago in general. And someone who was a big part of my upbringing in hip hop was HOPSIN. And more so than HOPSIN, it was just the general kind of underground appreciation um, and lyricism appreciation that was prevalent in hip hop at that moment, late 2000s, early 2010s. If you could put together two bars that sounded crafty and very off the wall, you were pretty revered. Earl Sweatshirt, Tyler, Gambino. Truly Bad is more traditional lyricist lane than the guys I just mentioned, but he was hot, etc., etc. Chance the Rapper. Off the wall bars are just what the world wanted at that moment. And Hopsin was kind of more in the real hip hop lane, the YouTube hip hop lane. Your NFs and that one white dude, what's his name, Poison or Threat or some shit like that. Real school shooter looking type of dude. He was Yellow Wolf. Those types. Slaughterhouse. That was the cup of tea back then. And Hobson kind of always stood out because he had appeal from the weirdo, kind of not like hip hop, but not completely influenced by hip hop dudes like your fucking Earls and Tylers. He had appeal from them, but he also had appeal from the Tech Nine community and those types that were also very big. So he kind of had his own lane in the real hip hop lane, and that kind of got him a lot of success. I mean, Illmind Hobson, 33 million. Illmind Hobson 5, probably his, I think, highest viewed video, 100 million plus views. Routinely mentioned as one of the biggest names in hip hop. SSL freshman attendant or student or whatever the hell. Just a really big name, and this was a period of time where hip hop bigness didn't necessarily translate to a lot of people in terms of like real world impact. But I had a lot of friends who would routinely tell me, "Oh, and this was like I was in middle school, I think like seventh grade, something like that." And people would tell me like, I'm a Tyler fan or I'm a Hobson fan or this dude's a real ass spitter. I had people that weren't even like internet hip hop fans, like they like thug gangster music with the shit that Hobson hated, and they were like, they were like Lil Boosie fans, Wayne fans. They were like, I really fuck with Hobson. This dude's a spitter, and that just makes me think to myself like maybe nowadays I'm not the biggest fan of Hobson. Just the whole fuck you. I'm really carrying on the legacy of hip hop, and you're tarnishing it. That shit didn't really appeal to me at this moment, but there was something to me, something there that made me like this dude for a while, and his group Funk Volume. So I decided to give some of these videos another spin and just see how he's progressed, I guess, as well as seeing what I fucked with, and even some things I didn't watch back then. So just kind of enjoying some moments, I guess, from back in the day. Let's just put the audio on. Can we do it? See if we can do it. Uh-oh. So one thing I think that a lot of people will always note about this, the characters he transforms into, the surrounding environment, what I believe is actually his room. Like it was actually his room that he lived in, I guess, as a jit maybe, and kind of like the, really funny lyricists such as lyrics. Now they show me the goodies under the Wonder Bra. I'm going door to door with foreign swords and morning wars, camping out with commercial horror tours. Hold your hand cause I'm a torch of yours, even more than swords. And you know it won't be hard to ignore the door. Here's dead, and I'm the lucky savior. I'm kinda mad, and I'm the one to rile up the anger. All these no gimmicky ass fired up behaviors with whack beats and gap teeth like Tyler the Creator. And this is. That's what a lot of us a lot of people, pretty much where he got his notoriety from actually ended up being disses. That was a big part of what got him big. He was a smaller artist than Tyler, but in effect, dissing Tyler kind of got him a foot in the door. And supposedly, per guy that was actually like pretty much best friends with HOPSIN. A video I saw back then, 2011. HOPSIN actually worked like with Tyler, like I guess in some kind of recording capacity, worked with Tyler. They knew each other before this, like personally. I can't confirm that, but that was something that occurred. This video put me on to HOPSIN, I believe, as it did many. He seemed very likable as somebody that was, like 12. Just so off the wall, just so zany. And, there wasn't many. I mean, I guess contemporary, obviously, being a black Eminem, that was his comparison. I think he was a little less interesting subject matter wise, especially, me saying that now and having listened to more Eminem's music since, 2011. But he was fun. I mean, he didn't have the rape shit that Eminem did. He wasn't as into this character as Eminem was with Slim Shady, but he was also more, I guess, I don't want to say more raw because, I mean, Eminem was pretty fucking raw, but like, he just felt, I guess, different. Maybe more relatable because he was black, but if you look at what he was wearing, and this is 2011, so I mean, it's not like the most, progressed to where we are now year, but I mean, he's wearing like DC shoes and fitteds and like South Park shit. But yeah, this is still probably one of my favorite. Like the TV show. Kicking it raw, niggas like G, he's dope. If there's anyone throwing dirt in my name, then he be toast. For all of you rappers who bringing me drama, homie, please be ghost. The only reason I'm being aggressive is because we need hope. I'm fucking worthy, because we supply the best ones. Since you thought it was kind of strange, you should sign the tech line. You design erect lines. Who am I to just lie? You design erect lines. Who am I to just lie? And usually I'm not into dark dick. He put himself in a white face and white hands, played the female himself, got a wig. It's put up on his own, I guess, supposedly titties, as a shirt called Little Miss Naughty. And this is where, it's tough for HOPSIN. I mean, if one of your, I know this is some shit that Eminem would do back in the day. I get it. A lot of guys would probably do this in Eminem's lane in 2001. I understand that. But if you are doing a situation in which this is you, I think it's tough to get past, as far as your general image. Being corny is not as acceptable as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago in hip hop. People kind of want a less, I don't want to say a less creative person, but just someone that kind of tries to avoid going too deep in what is just not liked. I guess some of it is too different, but HOPSIN was weird even for maybe the strangest time in hip hop in the past millennium, or this entire millennium. So this was also a very this is probably one of his first real songs he's dropped when he got to the scene. Would you stand and fight? I mean, good. Just look at this fucking thumbnail, bro. Would you stand and fight? What's this image? If this doesn't scream like 2005 to you, I mean, just the fit. I mean, look, that's. I just feel like HOPSIN, he's just two different lengths. Dude had a backward snapback, a big white tee, and then jean shorts in 2012. And he's he's masturbating some shit in that part of it. Supposed to be kind of like this glow up, a chained Hot Topic white contacts, and then a piercing. And I'll say that's one thing about HOPSIN. He was always gonna be different.
the wrist. My flow got a few ways to switch. Niggas act hard, I'ma change the script. Everybody begging to be up in your mind, cause they know I got skills y'all can't prevent. When I lace a hit, you impressive none. You can take it as a lesson, son. If you smart,
this is crazy, man. You know, at the end of the day, I really can't fucking say anything. This is insane.
When it blows up, you niggas know where the heck I'm from. I'm keeping it raw for shit.
I mean, this dude was. It's 9 years later, and this still somehow feels more outdated than just that. A guy doing the whole shaky camera filming, quick jump cuts, standing behind fences looking raw. You know, the fucking that's not South Park, that's the other one. South Pole, not South Park. And yes, where's Swizzle? You know, I really fuck with Wiz. I mean, the full, you know, black cover the whole iris and all that shit context. The like the ring eyes. Fucking monkey looking. I mean, not necessarily. He looked like a monkey. He has a really like kind of high voice. The really like triplet flow situation.
I was the nigga all you niggas used to climb. Now when I come around, I got you motherfuckers like, wow. Yeah, how you like me now? I'm crossing all you niggas like fire.
How you like me now, motherfucker? How you like me? How you like me now, motherfucker? How you like me?
Let me see you clown, motherfucker. Let me see. Yeah, how you like me now, motherfucker? How you like me? Oh, so you wanna be cool? You wanna be pat?
I'll say one thing, man. I mean, HOPSIN and Swizz, they had a really good chemistry. There was another one that was a Swizz lead single that HOPSIN was on. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was comparable in size to this one. Independent Living with Dizzy Wright. The whole contrarian situation between, you know, Dizzy Wright being a smoker, and you have these two guys who was like, fuck hip hop, or fuck contemporary hip hop, fuck stoners, you know, fuck Wiz Khalifa, fuck Currency, blah 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 blah. And then like they signed Dizzy Wright. That whole contrarian situation, well, that was funny. I mean, kind of. It was really interesting to see how deep people went into being the non-contemporary, the non-mainstream. And then, like, at the end of the day, a lot of what... This is bar right here. I'm a brainwash chains and create false dreams because it pays off clean. I'm just an idiotic, ironic, symbolic, illuminatic product that's gonna be killed if I talk about it. The one thing that always, you know, kind of coalesced with HOPSIN, listening to his music, is he would just... It was so contrarian that it was like, this is your actual image. And it kind of came to a head with one of his, like... It's supposed to be a fake trap ballad, but it ended up being one of his biggest songs. I forgot the name of it was, but for years he would just make like listen to this. I sever the weakest niggas who not on my pedigree, cause on the tombstone it's as hard as their name will ever be. He would just make bars up about hating skating rappers. Guys that talked about sagging their pants, like Wayne, basically. He made a lot of songs hating Wayne. And like, you know, boss rappers. And I'm an asshole. Yeah, yeah. Your parents hate me cause I love you. So tell them I said fuck. And literally this whole video is like about shit on those dudes. It's like, I get it. I get what he's going for. But the fact of the matter is, it will be subject matter that takes over so much of the percentage of his content matter that he would be essentially become the fuckers he was talking about. Like on Hot Madness, he like had an entire verse about shitting on Game, who was wearing his, like, stole his steeds from Martians vs. Goblins, which, if you want to go back in time, I'll fucking watch Martians vs. Goblins. But that was his old steeds, and it was like, all you rap about is the shit you don't like, which is in turn makes you basically produce only the content you don't like. And before I get to Illmind HOPSIN 5, which is, I think the preeminent, if you're talking about the old HOPSIN, just looking back at some of these other things he's produced, it was like, I think this was his first single off of Knock Madness, if I remember correctly. Fucking Prince EA. That's a throwback Thursday. Holy shit. I think it's Prince EA. It's either Prince EA or Deshaun Raw, one of the two. I think it's Prince EA though.
I made you hot. Like I helped that. I helped your engine. You feel me? I'm a part of your.
But yeah, after a long while, it's kind of like he's like, oh, Alright, go ahead. This is 2013, right? Going to 2014. So only like 7 years ago. So he has a Stars, I believe it's a Stars and Stripes tee. He has a do-rag with a fitted. And then, that one gray chain, or the one silver chain everybody has. Got the white contacts back. A fucking Stars and Stripes. I believe it's Stars and Stripes. I may be wrong about that. But, I mean, like... Jack on these rap beats. You thought that I was done with completely being an athlete. Don't think you raw just cause you got success. I'll uppercut your ass so many times you look like you was nodding yet. I'm the only child that my mom regrets. Probably best that you don't buy my album. Save your money, yo, do not invest. Your bullshit, come on for that. Someone it really doesn't matter. I consider my flow a malignant rifle. The strip survivor when have you screaming like R&B singers who hitting high notes. The sick is spiteful. Tupac's twisted grim disciple. I've been this nice your way before my door had been alive. My ex-girl's heart is so bruised and burned. Yeah, this is a diss here somewhere. I think it's in the last verse. Oh yeah, the Kanye. Yeah, that's what it is. That's why the paparazzi made that nigga hit his fucking head. That's what that fool gets. You think you got now? You have nice rap little faggot bitch. Perhaps you simple. Imagine saying this in 2020. Rap little faggot bitch. Rap little faggot bitch. Perhaps you say that's what that fool gets. You think you got now? You have passing rap little faggot bitch. Could you say that? Could you say that exact line in 2021? I don't think you could. I don't think even HOPSIN could say that. And he has a very dedicated... That's really what I want to conclude on, is that he has a very dedicated fan base. I could go back and listen to a couple more of these. I never actually listened to any of the ones before, I think, 3. So these two, I'm unaware of how they sound. HOPSIN 5 was kind of like, I guess, him... taking more, it really doubled down on the whole, like, if you don't know, HOPSIN was very straight edge, and what he perceived as wrong in society among his peers, his age, he's like fucking like 25 when he's making these, not like 19 when you would perceive the way that he's kind of making music and looking at society. He's like 18, 19 maybe. He's like 25 making this shit. He's like fucking 38 right now, some shit, but... Point being, you're only in school because your parents make you go, and all you do is play beer pong and hang out with your bros. Yo, society's got you living for a whack cause you're a fucking adult with no skills at all. You don't read any books or play ball, you don't draw, you literally do nothing at all. Still you fiend for the glamorous fruits you don't have cause you idolize rappers that do, and all they say is I got money in a stack to the roof, and now you think that it's gonna magically just happen to you? How? Your lazy ass don't commit to labor. You pick something. The thing about HOPSIN is that some of the shit he was saying was not wrong. Like even then, I would think more so now, some of the things probably aged a little bit well. A lot of people, have gotten into, even more so in 2012, have gotten in a mean of living vicariously through celebrities, even more so than before. Celebrity culture has always been a thing, but I think even pretty much like very much so now. We literally have people who exist on Twitters and YouTubes only to follow other celebrities and to pretty much permeate poetic about those celebrities. And in part in that, I think, people have their own individual identity and being their own person
Even on Earth, I should die. You want Romeo, you're not worthy. You're cock-thirsty. You're nasty and probably got herpes. Sometimes the secret to find is to stop searching. Try a new formula because your last one's not working. The term real.
I think what hurt him so much is how like corny he was and how holier than thou he was. But I mean, the image. I mean, it wasn't wrong. I mean, like, not the image, but the message on a base level was correct. I mean, if you look at the communities, he kind of, all right. Well, this is very corny. Why do black people have the only ones that can't evolve? That's a very corny, very Caucasian take that kind of reveals how Hobson's upbringing was. As somebody who's been called white more times than I can count, I get the perception of what Hobson. The problem is a lot of Hobson's music was not nuanced. It was just saying things from raw emotion, and I think it would have behooved him, as far as the corny part of his image, to add a little bit more nuance to the shit he was saying. But as you can see, it worked out for him. I think a lot of people that were his fans would not have appreciated the nuance. And honest to God, I mean, if you were to have listened to some of the shit he said, I think that a lot of artists ended up living off, and even rappers that succeeded, the rappers he was talking about, lived off giving a bad image to impressionable kids. And man, those impressionable kids are somebody who is a generation above the results of those influenced by the Drakes and et cetera, the Waynes and Wiz Khalifa's. A lot of them end up being very burnt out. A lot of them end up being part of the reason that, you know, lean culture and Zans and shit like that kind of got passed down to very younger and even more influenceable generations, going from like college dropouts to like actual high school attendees, and even, you know, nowadays middle schoolers, and a lot more sexual activity occurring in that community. So I just say to say that, you know, I'm not hating on Hobson. Like Hobson, even then and especially now, said some things that were necessary. I feel like that nobody was, that made very few people were saying, even his contemporaries. You go to Yellow Wolf. I mean, Yellow Wolf isn't giving you some of those takes because Yellow Wolf at that time also lived out some of those stereotypes for a southern white individual. Go to Tyler. I mean, Tyler was a very thoughtful individual as a youngin', but he was hitting. I think he was hitting some of the more indulgent notes for pretty much the same core or the same crowd that Hobson was. But it's just two paths. One path's kind of went to that straight edge, you know, fuck the society has made me what I am type of thing. That's kind of Hobson's crowd. The other crowd's like, okay, I'm sad. I have a fucked up upbringing. And it's kind of these fuckers' fault that I'm in a situation. So it's kind of, I guess, two different paths of the same crowd that those two kind of reached to. But I think Hobson, at least some of what he was saying, was well intentioned,
Drawing cartoons
and would have done a lot for
Ninja Turtles.
I think the Generation Z.
I don't know.
And hoping to go in a different direction. But you know, I've been watching some of his. I watched a couple of his more recent videos. And he seems like a well-founded individual now. Kind of appreciated Etz in this video. Made a video about him leaving hip hop for a while to kind of get his shit together. Did a COVID Mansion video, which is an actual music video, and it kind of talked to racial stereotypes in it. But you know, what can you do? I mean, Hobson's going to give you a couple of those, but it was interesting. I mean, he was more open to. I mean, he really rapping over a trap beat, like not ironically. He's definitely someone that's progressed as a person.
So I went to look at it. I'm like, his head's way too fucking wide. But I was like, I went through so many trial and errors. I'm like,
I mean, for better or for worse.
Let me look harder. Let me look harder into the.
This is a person
that's so important right now. Unfortunately, the tragedy happened where he passed away. I was really broken. You know, that one really hit me hard, especially for someone that I never met. I was like, damn, that really cuts me deep. And I still felt inspired by him. I still felt like he left a mark on the world and his energy is still flowing, even though he's gone. The collaborations, I'm just so thankful that he even knew who I was, that he's even messaged me. I don't even care about the collab. I'm an artist, so sometimes art is the only way that you can express yourself. That's how you feel. You can truly get out how you feel.
I mean, I could keep on going, but this is clearly a person that has progressed in the way he views the world. How open he is to different individuals, different people. This is a person that's, I just hate that for a lot of people, his resting image will probably be that really corny, fuck all these hip hop guys, YouTube comments, uh, genre rapper from 2011. But I mean, he's definitely a person that this dude looked the exact same for 8 years. Did he still do the contacts? Oh, he does. Holy shit! I didn't even notice that. He still does the fucking contacts. Golly, I don't know why you would still that happy ending song. Yeah, that was tough. He he's a good ass dude. I think at the end of the day, even back then, I think Hopsin was just kind of young mentally. He was like age wise old. I think he just didn't experience enough life or enough. And I'm not saying I am. Like he probably way more experience of life at that point than I was. But just saying, I can tell that a lot of his takes came from his nearby community, and I feel like as he's kind of more expanded into different parts of the country, I think he lives in Thailand or some shit. As he's expanded, I feel like he's realized that there's just more to what people are going through than what was given. But yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of people. I think Excess Tentacion connected a lot of people that are from different parts of life, um, and different sides of hip hop that would have never even had a shared thought process. But I mean, Essence Tentacion, I mean, Hopsin gave the same premise about X that fucking like Rob Banks would have given, or like fucking Chance the Rapper would have given, or like Kendrick Lamar would have given. And I think Def tends to do that for people, but that would have been unfortunate. So yeah, shout out to Hobson. I mean, I kind of made this, I guess, to kind of see how he was doing, and kind of really give my, like, for y'all to see how, I guess, how I would react to a couple of things. I guess just get it live to see how I would react to a couple of things. Some of his old shit still is enjoyable. I mean, to some degree, I could probably listen to some of his old shit to this day. I mean, he's like really one of the first, I want to say, first 5 rappers I followed ardently on the internet. I mean, I really like 2009, 2008. I started like really into internet culture and music, and like around 2010, 11, I started like following forums and shit. And that's kind of where I got onto Hobson. I think he's someone that everybody should have listened to at least once at that period of time, just to kind of get a feel for where the internet was at. Rage Comics, fucking Cats, et cetera, et cetera. Encyclopedia Dramatica. And I think that while he has progressed past that stage of his life, he's still someone that, will never get a completely fair shake, but shout out to him, his progression. Hope you all enjoyed this video. I know a lot of people wanted it just to be clowning this dude for being super fucking corny and, real hip hop shit. Glad that shit was on fucking 2013. That shit didn't make it to 2021. But as a nuanced person, this is a nuanced video. Peace.